Alright, starting this video off a little bit differently, jumping right into some gameplay. So I recently pulled my first Series 5 card, Sauron, so let's jump into a game with Sauron right away. We got Taskmaster, Arrow, Sauron, and Shuri. So let's see what we get. We got a Gambit from Camp Delight, very interesting. So I have Ebony Maul, but I'm going to wait to play him until Sauron cancels his whole ability. So I'm missing my 1 and 2 drop, which isn't the biggest of deals. As long as I hit Sauron on 3, that's pretty great. So I'm going to go ahead with Sauron in the middle. Also got She-Hulk now in hand, which is pretty good. And we got Shuri coming up. That's all pretty solid. He's setting up a big destroy location with Camp Lehigh. I get Death randomly, and he gets Ghost, which I haven't actually seen in the game yet before. So that's one way to get a new card. Alright, so we got Arnim Zola already, which is really, really solid. I think I go Shuri here, though, and then I can play... maybe Arrow next turn at double the power, or even just, honestly, Ebony Maul doubling a 7 for 1 power is really good. So I might end up even just doing that with Shuri. So we got, so we know we're going to get like a Carnage or Deathlock at Camp Lehigh. So he's got a free Sabretooth on his hand. Now he's got Bucky Barnes turning into Winter Soldier in the middle, and then he's got the Demon on the right. So he's creeping up the power. Alright, so we got Red Skull, so that's really good. So Red Skull is going to be 15 times 2. He's going to be 30 power, and his ability is negated from Sauron. So that's what this deck's all about, trying to get a massive unit like that on the board with Shuri and Sauron combined. So that'll be 30 power right there on the left, and then he waves. Wave's pretty annoying. Alright, so Wave is pretty good for him because he probably has Death in hand. Now, any other time, this would have been a great turn because we can play Ebony Maul for 1 and Taskmaster for 5, but right now we can only play Taskmaster, which is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and drop Taskmaster on the right. He's going to copy Red Skull. He's going to be 30 power, which is going to be a massive, beefy unit. He's playing Mr. Fantastic and Death for free, which is nowhere near enough power to get over 230s. Thankfully, Sauron's in there making things real nice, turning off Red Skull, but could have been even better if I didn't get waved on turn 5, because I could have dropped Ebony Maul. So that's what this deck is all about. So let's try to get some more. Alright, we got Arrow, Sunspot, and She-Hulk, and Lizard. Definitely not a terrible hand here. So we'll go with Sunspot. Always happy just to see Sunspot or Sauron or Lizard out. Alright, so we got Sunspot out, so we can miss turns if we need to. But I think I will play Lizard. He doesn't have to get his ability removed to be able to be played in this deck. You know, that's the goal with Sauron, but he's not that essential for Lizard in per se. It is really essential for Ebony Maul, Red Skull, Typhoid, etc. Alright, so I'm just skipping turn 3 regardless, and I'm going to be able to play She-Hulk next turn, which is great. The locations are going to get shifted up, which is going to be very interesting because they're going to be swapping, which they're all pretty important for that. So Mirror Island's going to be giving plus power at a different location, and things aren't going to get revealed at a different location after this. So that's very odd. So that card that he played there is actually going to get shifted. Alright, so I was going to play She-Hulk, but since I drew Shuri, I think I need to play Shuri here. So I can Shuri into Red Skull into Taskmaster, which is just a huge combo. Whether you Sauron or not, it's a really good combo. Obviously with Sauron, it's even more powerful, but... Alright, so Shuri's coming down. He's got She-Hulk. So that means this card was a 1 cost. This card on the right, we're going to see it this next turn here. Alright, so we got Red Skull coming down on the right. I drew Sauron a little too late, so I don't need to worry about playing him. So I'll go there. And now my options are Taskmaster and just save the energy, or if I end up drawing Arnim Zola, could be worth... Actually, I won't draw Arnim Zola because I'm running, of course, Merrick Chavez. Alright, so he's got Devil Dinosaur and Ebony, but I dropped 30. So we knew it was a 1 cost just because of the math that was on it. But we have a 30 power, and he can't compete with it on that side because he can't add anything to it. His hand's max size anyway. So I can add 30 power right here on Taskmaster in the middle. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm already winning the left, so he has to add something there to compete himself. So we're feeling pretty good. Let's see what he's got. He's got Nick Fury, which isn't really a good turn 6 play anyway. And then we add a whole 30 power. A whole 30 power. And then boom, win the middle, win the right. Great, Red Skull just single-handedly wins the right. That's awesome. and then we win the middle by a good old 25 power. Feels really good. So that's the deck. That's essentially what we're doing. Even when we don't get Sauron, it can still flow. So as I was explaining, I pulled my first Series 5 card, and it was Sauron. He's a bit niche, a bit of a weird card. He's a 3/3. On reveal, remove the abilities from all ongoing cards in your hand and deck. So you want to essentially jam-pack your deck with a bunch of cards that are going to have bad ongoing abilities to remove them. But if they're in play, they don't get removed yet. So the main three that I'm using here are Red Skull. Obviously, an ongoing cards get +2, enemy cards get +2 power at this location. Terrible ongoing effect. Typhoid Mary, your other cards have -1 power. That's your other cards everywhere. Brutal -1 effect there across the whole board. And Ebony Maw, who essentially means you can't play cards here, and also you can't play this after turn 3. But the weird thing about Sauron here in that interaction is he, on reveal, removed the abilities from all ongoing cards. So he doesn't just remove the ongoing abilities, he removes the abilities. So he removes the entire text of Ebony Maw, which is really good, because you can play him then on turn 6. So your turn 5 will ideally look like Arrow, Taskmaster, or Red Skull. And then your turn 6 will look like one of those cards I just mentioned, or like Typhoid Mary, and you'll be able to play Ebony Maw on turn 6 as well. So it's a lot of big power swings at the end. But then we're rocking a pretty generic like Shuri into Red Skull into Arnim Zola package as well. And we throw in Lizard for the funds of, if we can turn off his ongoing, it's pretty good as well. And then I'm using Sunspot early to gain an extra power. And, if I'm missing any drops, because we are running a deck that is a little bit weird on mana curve-wise, so if we miss anything, Sunspot can just gain that energy and let it flow over. And that obviously pairs super well with Shield. Using America Chavez here just to get the deck more consistent, so I don't draw this early. I can find Sauron in more of my games. That's the whole point of her here, and she feels really good. Arrow, just because she's pretty much one of the best cards in the game, so we jammed her in this deck. And the deck's feeling really good. So if you have gotten lucky enough to pull Sauron and you want to find a weird way to use this guy, definitely this is the style of deck you're going to want to play with him. He's an interesting Series 5 card, very, very niche, very powerful and fun to use, but very niche. There's not really any other cards that would fit in this deck that you want to turn off their ongoing abilities. The only card that I would want to put in this deck that I don't own is Zero, who turns off ongoing ability, or turns off the entire effect of the next card you play. I don't own Zero, so if you had him, you could swap out a few different things. But if you're looking for a deck to utilize Sauron in, hopefully the gameplay that you just watched can help you with that. You can try to enjoy a little bit of some weird gameplay with Sauron, if not, and know what to expect. This is kind of what the decks are going to do. This is what they're looking for. They're trying to hit you really late with crazy, crazy combo power. And if you're looking to beat a deck that's playing Sauron, if you're seeing a lot of Sauron on ladder or a lot of this Shuri Red Skull combo, just run Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi murders this deck, and it's really annoying because you can't really run armor in this deck because Zola is going to be destroying your cards to make copies of them. You can run armor, it's just a little bit weird, and it's also an ongoing effect. So if you have Sauron out, or if you played Sauron first, that gets canceled. And then you can't run Cosmo for the same reason, because you have these on-reveal effects, or if you play Sauron, he turns off Cosmo's ongoing ability. So it's a deck that is very, very acceptable to get murdered by Shang-Chi. So be very careful out there if you're playing it. That's the number one thing you got to watch out for. Try to predict where that Shang-Chi's coming down. Don't go all in on one location because he will blow up your whole board. All right, guys, until next time, hopefully you enjoy this deck. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for plenty more. Keep on snapping.